The borderline personality is a fragile personality structure with minimal to no internalized defensive organization to prevent the continual direct experience of these emotionally destabilizing core beliefs regarding primal self-inadequacy and expectations of being abandoned by the attachment figure. This results in the borderline personality directly and continually experiencing the emotional and psychological impact of these destabilizing core beliefs. The absence of internalized psychological defenses creates intense emotional instability for the borderline personality who seeks externalized solutions to regulate these intensely painful core beliefs of the attachment system. The borderline personality organization is continually threatened with collapse without the constant external regulatory support provided by the other person. The expression of the borderline style of personality organization seeks an idealized love of perfect fusion with the attachment figure that will provide the fragile borderline personality structure with an externalized defense against the direct experience of the core beliefs of the attachment system. The borderline personality seeks constant demonstrations of the, quote, perfect love, end quote, of the attachment figure to fill the borderline personality's void of self-experience as being fundamentally unlovable. The continual demonstrations of the attachment figure's complete devotion to the borderline personality's regulation keeps at bay the borderline personality's primal fear of being unloved and abandoned by the attachment figure. Other therapies call that the survival therapies, such as in CRM, or Comprehensive Resource Model by Lisa Schwartz, and brain spotting seems to have that, as well as EMDR with Shapiro. For the borderline personality, the desired demonstration of idealized love represents a psychological enmeshment with the attachment figure, in which there is a complete fusion of psychological states. The underlying disorganized attachment structure of the narcissistic borderline personality organization does not possess a coherent strategy for repairing breaches to the relationship with the attachment figure. Ruptures in the psychological relationship with the attachment figure withdraw the external regulatory support of the attachment figure for the fragile personality structure of the narcissistic borderline parent and result in a complete collapse of the underlying personality structure. The borderline personality's ability to maintain an organized psychological state is entirely dependent on the continual external regulatory support provided by the fused, perfectly attuned, and reflective psychological relationship with the, quote, regulatory other, end quote, of the attachment figure. This is why borderline structures of personality are so susceptible to suicide, because they can get into a somewhat psychotic state when they are decompensated or bereft of that external regulatory other of the attachment figure that Dr. Childress is talking about here. The borderline personality organization lacks the capacity for internal self-regulation. In order to maintain a regulated emotional and psychological state, the borderline personality structure relies entirely on the external regulatory support provided by the fused psychological state with the attachment figure. If there is a breach in this fused psychological state with the attachment figure, the organization of the borderline personality completely collapses into the intense and unprotected experience of intense abandonment fears and the emptiness of the self-experience as being fundamentally unlovable. So painful is this collapse into primal psychological disorganization that the borderline personality becomes obsessively focused on demanding that the attachment figure maintain a continual focus on regulating the psychological state of the borderline personality. However, perfect and continual psychological fusion with the attachment figure is neither healthy nor possible. Normal range and healthy relationships involve reciprocal exchanges between separate developmentally healthy relationship experiences. He quotes Kohut, 1971, and Tronick, 2003. Kohut, 1971, is the analysis of the self, and Tronick, 2003, is, of course, all relationships are unique. How co-creative processes generate unique mother-infant and patient-therapist relationships and change other relationships. That's in Psychoanalytic Inquiry 23, 473 to 491. Within healthy relationships, the two relationship partners seek to maintain a more or less coordinated psychological state with each other by making adjustments to their responses based on cues provided by the other person. This leads to broadly synchronous and coordinated psychological states of shared mutuality, with intermittent minor breach and repair sequences that develop from and correct the dyssynchronies in the relationship. Maintaining, let's stop it right there.